All right, welcome back. Wes Mitchell here on another Gamecock Central video production, joined today by a very special guest. We got the voice of the Chanticleers, Joe Cashion, joining us to talk a little bit about South Carolina's first opponent. As Joe said before we came on, we hope we hope we're going to see some actual football this year. Joe, thanks for being on. Obviously, starting out with you guys, Week 1, South Carolina versus Coastal, currently scheduled for September 5th. What is the word from your guys' ends? I mean, for us, it's sort of, Muschamp basically said, look, we're planning to play until somebody tells us differently. What's sort of been the official word with all the uncertainty that we're all dealing with right now from the Coastal Carolina end?
Wes, thanks for having me on. Yeah, the Chanticleers is certainly looking forward to the 2020 season. We got a lot of guys back. A lot of expectations. We finished the season, with a 5-7 record last year. And just like you just mentioned, Coach Muschamp for South Carolina, they're going to push forward until someone tells them no. Talking with Jamie Chadwell, our head football coach, and our AD, Matt Hogue, that's the same attitude that we've taken. We're going to move forward. We're going to try to get kids back on campus, as soon as that is, safe and possible to do. Coastal has announced that we will have on-campus instruction coming up in the fall, which I think is wonderful. I know South Carolina has announced that too. So as soon as, the all clear has been given and kids can get back onto campus and coaches can start working with them again, it's all systems go until someone says no.
Yeah, and I know obviously this has been tough on everybody for, every angle you can think of. Things are different, obviously. But I know, and we're recording this here on Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. The days sort of run together. But I know you talked to Coach here recently. What was sort of the underlying message, when you talked to him this week, and what was sort of the focus of what he had to tell you?
We went over a lot of things, and, you just mentioned challenges. And I think what he told me the biggest challenge of all of this is, where are the kids in their conditioning and their diet? There's just no way to really know where they are. You're hoping, the coaches are hoping, that the kids on their own at home, wherever they are, have been able to work out in some capacity. Now, obviously, until this week, gyms have been closed. So if they have their own equipment to work out with, hopefully, they've been able to do that and keep in condition and eat right. But trying to keep a handle on 90 to 100 kids is just, in this situation, I don't know. He's like, I don't know how they're going to be when they come back. You might have some who won't take much to get ready. You might have some that might take the entire 6 to 10 weeks or whatever prep time you have. So that's been a challenge. And recruiting has also been a big challenge too, with the fact that you just can't go out and see the kids, and you can't get them to camp. I can't get them to campus. He said that's something that Coastal really needs to do. We have to get our kids to campus because, we're not quite, as branded as some other G5 schools are, like a Central Florida. Everybody knows who they are. In our league, Appalachian State, everybody knows who they are. But, we're still trying to build our brand as an FBS school. So, conditioning and recruiting, those have been the two biggest challenges. But he's excited. I talked to him, and he's just chomping at the bit to get these guys back, to get them back in the program, and to get the wheels turning towards that season opener.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big part of this for everybody. It's some of the kids don't have access to the ability to work out at home. Certainly not to the extent that they're going to be with a strength and conditioning coach right there with them. With the facilities they would have there at Coastal or here at South Carolina. It's just tough. So I do think the timing, at least it looks like at some point in June, if everything continues along, these kids are going to be able to start getting back to campus. So at least I think there's going to be time to where it's hopefully going to be safe from that standpoint, from a conditioning standpoint, to start to get them back. So as far as this Coastal Carolina team goes, I've been reading up on you guys, starting with the offense. I think you guys return a heavy dose of your offensive linemen, bunch of skill guys, I think, as far as the running game and the receivers. If we were going to talk about this offense and sort of their development and what they want to see maybe as far as progression from last year to this year, where would you sort of start as far as the guys we need to know about with this offense?
Offensively, I'd start with C.J. Marable. He's a guy that I think can play on Sundays. He rushed for more than 1,000 yards last year and had to carry a heavy dose of the load when we lost some guys, had a guy get sick middle of the year who was really producing for us. But, C.J., again, over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground. He is really an explosive kind of guy. I mean, once you get his wheels going, I mean, he's hard to stop. And, I think he's a kid that can play on Sundays. Reese White is a youngster in the backfield who came in as a true freshman last year and was giving us some good snaps until he came down with mono. When we lost him for a better part of a month, if not a full month, and he lost a ton of weight, but he's going to be back and in shape. And we have a youngster, a JUCO kid named Shamari Jones, who really showed out in our spring practice, which we were able to get in, quite remarkably. We got in all our practices and then the spring game on March 5th, but he really impressed the coaches in the spring. So I think in the backfield, we'll be pretty good to go. Our offensive line, we have just about everybody back up there. Stephen Badowski, our starting right tackle, went down early. He'll be back. And then, Trey Carter is probably the best of that bunch. I mean, he always graded out in the high 90s. He's not the biggest kid, but he will get after people. Trey Carter, obviously, I think is the leader of that team and our leader of that offensive front. And then our quarterbacks, I mean, we got three guys right now, Fred Payton, Bryce Carpenter, and Grayson McCall. And, if we had to start, Jamie told me if we started the season, today, Fred would be the guy, and he got most of the starts last year. And he just gets a little more consistent, as a quarterback. He had some good games for us. Best game, in my opinion, was the App game, and you guys saw how good they were. We went to their place and we went toe-to-toe for them for most of that game. And Fred made the best decisions, that he made in any game, in my opinion, of all last year. So I think we'll be good there. And then Isaiah Likely is a tight end / wide receiver kind of guy, a difference maker. He's another guy that I think can play on Sundays. He's got great hands, runs great routes, and I think we'll be okay offensively. Again, we project 9 starters back. Our wideouts, hadn't mentioned them yet, but Javon Hiley's a good junior wide receiver. He caught his first touchdown pass 2 years ago at Williams-Brice. From Bryce Carpenter. A true freshman connection from Venice, Florida, and they scored there in that game 2 years ago. And I think he's the leader of that wideout group. We might be a little bit thin there, but we got some guys that Jamie, he's excited about coming in that they project will step in and be good players for us. So I like what I see coming back offensively. I think we have a chance to really get better from 2019.
From what I've read, at least the preview I read, one of the points, and I think this is maybe offensively and defensively, was that the team just needed to maybe find a little bit more consistency from week to week. I know you guys, like you said, you talked about App State. You went toe-to-toe with some teams last year where you could sort of see the progress. But just sort of finding that consistency, I think, is always a difficult step for a program. So moving over to the defensive side as well, I know there were some really good outings from this group. There's a lot of talent back. What do you sort of see? What do we need to know about this defense? And what can you tell us about the pass rush? The preview I was reading said that was maybe an area that if the pass rush can take another step forward, then that's going to mean a lot of good things potentially for this defense.
Defensively, we went to a 3-4 kind of look last year, a 3-down look with Chad Staggs coming in, and I thought we got a lot better. From 18 to 19, I thought we got a lot better, even though we took some hits. I mean, we lost some guys early. We lost 2 starters in the Kansas game in week 2, and one of those guys was probably the heart and soul of our defense, linebacker Silas Kelly. He was our returning leading tackler. We got him back this year. So that's going to be a big plus. And you talk about pass rush. We got some huge news last week with the return of Jeff Gunter, and hopefully he will be cleared to play. Now, he was a 2018 first team All-Southern, Sun Belt Conference defensive lineman, and that was in a 4-down look. Now we're in a 3-down look. He projects to be a bandit rush in. So we're going to have him running around out there, and I'm really excited about that, him having the opportunity to get it quarterbacks. We also have first team All-Sun Belt last year, Teron Jackson. Probably is our 5 technique kind of guy. So, we got those guys on either end. C.J. Brewer in the middle is our 3 technique. he has ability. All these guys I'm talking about have the ability to play, perhaps play on Sunday. C.J. Brewer's a big time guy, who could play, down lineman in there for us. And I think our defensive line with some depth that we've developed, that will probably be the strength of this defense as we go forward and start 2020. Now, I mentioned Silas Kelly coming back at linebacker. We'll have Teddy Gallagher back as a linebacker. Project 7 starters overall back defensively. So, I think our front 7 guys will be the strength of the defense. And then on the back end, we're kind of young there. We've got some new guys coming in, a JUCO kid, Jordan Strong, we have him. Manny Stokes comes in as a true freshman. Those guys will, be cornerbacks for us. Jordan Morris, the kid out of Rock Hill, might be the other corner as we start the year. And then, Alex Phillum and Braden Matz, two really smart kids back there at safety. They had a good year for us last year. And Matz really had a great spring, according to Jamie. So, we'll see. Chad Staggs has done a nice job kind of shaping this defense the way he wants it. And like I said, I thought we made great strides from 18 to 19, and hopefully we can have the depth if we keep people healthy and be able to to make even more strides coming up.
What have you maybe seen as Coach Chadwell has started to sort of put his personal stamp on the program? I know I always think it's interesting looking at sort of the transition from one coach to another. The one at Coastal was a very just unique transition, I guess, with the setup there. But have you seen him start to – I know you talked about the expectations and then 9 guys back on offense, a bunch of guys back on defense. Have you seen him be able to start to sort of put his own unique stamp on this? And in turn, what are the expectations? You mentioned in the open there are high expectations. What's sort of the feel for the expectations maybe within the community going into this season in particular?
I think we expect to compete for the East title in the Sun Belt, quite frankly. And I think we have the personnel and the schedule that, that can do that. In terms of Jamie putting his own stamp on things, I mean, he has kind of reshaped the staff, to a lot of guys that he has worked with previously. You see a lot of guys with Charleston Southern, connections, North Greenville kind of connections where he has coached previously. He has kind of shaped the staff over the past couple of years. He took over a great program from Coach Joe Moglia. Coach Moglia did a great job when he came in, in 2012 of taking the program at an FCS level and really taking it to where we had never gone before. And now Jamie has kind of taken that, at the FBS level and hoping to take us to haven't been yet. They're starting our 3rd full year of FBS football. So, he's tried to change the culture in terms of how, we're recruiting talent, going after guys maybe that we didn't feel like we had a shot at before. We're in the mix for some big-time guys, 3- and 4-star kids. At the end of the day, you want to get those 3-star kids because that's where the G5s, if we're going to make hay at this level, you need those kind of kids. And we're in there for, some of those guys and maybe, a couple of 4-stars too. We may not get them, but at least we're in the, in the mix for them. And so I think, in terms of recruiting talent, he's trying to put his stamp there. Athletically, we want to get better. Depth is still an issue, and we're trying to get there. And again, that all goes back to recruiting and the kind of kids we're trying to bring in. So, Jamie has really done a nice job of putting his stamp, as you call it, on this program and getting it to where we can compete. And the expectation is that we're going to not only compete like we did last year. We came up short in a bunch of games. My goodness. We were one, and I always hate when people say, we're 1 or 2 plays away from, instead of being 2-9, we could have been 9-2. No, but literally we were 1 play away from bowl eligibility if we stopped Georgia Southern last year, on a 4th down play in overtime. But hopefully we can get over that hump, make those plays this year, and get bowl eligible and compete, and maybe win the East.
Well, hey, if you're a recruit, I mean, you guys are at the FBS level, and you got the beach, man. I mean, to me, the beach is undefeated. So I've always thought, that Coastal program is sort of a what used to be a sleeping giant. And then, like you said, you see Moglia, I feel like just sort of set the foundation. And now I think with any school, it takes some time once you're transitioning to the FBS level because, like you talked about, you got to get those guys that are sort of at that level and get them on your campus and get them used to your coaches and all that stuff. And you get in the game first. You got to be in the game to sign them. And then, you get a guy here, there, and the next thing you know, I think it starts rolling. So I think it's really cool for the state of South Carolina. and fun to see, that program taking another step, hopefully. And hey, I'm looking forward to another matchup. I'm like you said at the beginning, Joe. Hopefully, everybody's safe and we're kicking this thing off on time, September 5th at Williams-Brice Stadium, and hopefully we can talk again between now and then, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to come ball at the beach? My goodness. I mean, you talked about it. I mean, the climate is great. The beach is right there. You got a lot of stuff going on in Horry County, around coastal Carolina. And like you said, getting guys to get to our campus so we can show them these things. That's a big thing. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that, that this thing will calm down a little bit and we can figure out a way to mitigate the risk. Nothing in life is without a risk. And let's figure out the way we can do that. And if we get some fans in the stands too, that would be even better. But I think college football and football in general is important in more ways than just athletically to our state and to just people in general terms. Just giving people something to feel good about, something to coalesce around, and to go watch and be normal again. Be normal again. And let's hope we can get there.
Joe, we appreciate the time. Is there anything else you want to add? I know we sort of went broad spectrum on everything, but anything we didn't hit that you want to say?
Not really, Wes. I appreciate the time, the opportunity to talk about the Chanticleers and this football program. And, I'm just excited, and hopefully we can do it again and get together at Williams-Brice and see a good football game. I'm excited about it.
Yes, sir. It should be fun. Again, if you're new on our Gamecock Central YouTube page, please hit the subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed the content today. Joe, we appreciate the time. For Joe Cashion, I'm Wes Mitchell, and we'll see you next time.